Bro, I'm not going live. I can't find the goddamn control of my goddamn TV. Oh, here we go. Right here. Should sit here right next to me. What's up, y'all? Today, the topic is stupid people and fake ass intellectuals. Okay? Excuse me because I got some green to roll. So I'm be talking to y'all while I roll. Alright? I was gonna wait and go live after I rolled it. I was like, no, I'm start talking to them while I roll. What's up, Boris Shock? What's up, AJ3? What's up, everybody up in here? Hit the like button as you come in, please. What's up, Shayla? Make sure you hit the like button as you come in here, please. And where the hell is my ashtray? Damn, I left my ashtray outside. I don't even need it out there. So, what's up, Savon Scott, Sherelle Bryant, Big Stacks? Thank y'all for joining. So let's get right into it. And then towards the second half of the show today, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to read you guys' comments, all right? I'm going to read you guys' comments. But I want to, and I'm also going to play a little bit of I'm on my phone, so since I'm not on my normal computer, I'll have that for you guys on Friday. I'll be on my regular computer, on my new computer Friday. Maybe Thursday. I don't know, depending on what time it comes. Now, the first day I get it, I'll be setting shit up. I ain't going to be live with you niggas when I get my computer. I'll see you niggas the next day. Well, anyway, this show is about intellectuals, non-intellectuals, fake-ass intellectuals. I tend to not like the term intellectual because there's a lot of smug that comes with the term, a lot of misconception. And most people that call themselves intellectuals are not intellectuals, especially people like Angela Rye, who's talking about QueenzFlip. But you know me, I'm a Gemini. I see both sides of things, and I'm gonna play this right down, like how I play it. Well, anyway, there's a podcast out there called the Joe Budden Podcast. I'm sure most of y'all are familiar with the Joe Budden Podcast. I've never listened to it like to a full episode myself, but I respect the podcast. I think it's a good podcast. I've just never personally given it the time of day outside of the clips that I see, And then you have this new show with Angela Rye. Let me see. I forgot the name of that show. Hold on. I forgot the name of the Angela Rye show. Let me see here. Do y'all remember the name of the Angela Rye show, chat room? If you do, put it in the chat. It's a stupid ass name. That's probably why I don't remember it. Oh yeah, it's called Native Land Pod. Basically, it said that when I heard the name of their podcast, that's basically these Democrat bootlicks coming together and hearing our language on the grassroots, talking about our indigenous history here, our foundational history here in America, and they're trying to play up on that while still trying to be Democratic shills. And on that podcast is Bakari Sellers, the dude that had his asshole worn out. Remember he had the bloody sheet because his asshole got worn out? Is Bakari Sellers. Who else? Who's the other dude? Is Bakari Sellers, Tiffany Cross. Oh yeah, Andrew Gillum. That's the one that had his asshole ripped out. Not Bakari Sellers. It was Andrew Gillum. He the one that had his asshole touched in Florida. Andrew Gillum, Bakari Sellers, Angela Rye, and Tiffany Cross. The Negroes nobody wants to listen to. And I say that because they've had all the shots in the world on CNN, MSNBC. They've been on the Breakfast Club. They've had their shows all over the place. And nobody gives a shit about them still. So now they're online. And, I guess they got to make some hay. because I remember the podcast being announced, but no one really paid attention to it. So I guess they're trying to make some hay, trying to raise hay to get people to pay attention to their little bullshit ass podcast. So basically, long story short, what happened was there was an incident on the Joe Budden podcast last week where one of the guys had a confrontation with Marc Lamont Hill, and the confrontation got physical, almost got physical. Hold on. The confrontation almost got physical. And what happened was basically what it was about. There's a guy on the podcast named QueenzFlip. And QueenzFlip got basically flustered at Marc Lamont Hill for speaking over him. You know, he called him, say, you know, you don't have to speak down to me. And it was basically, I don't want to call the man stupid. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to call him stupid because he's a father. And people that know him, QueenzFlip, say that he's a good father to his children. So I don't necessarily want to call a person that's a good father to their children stupid. But at the same time, if there's a particular topic on the table and you argue said topic without having the information with somebody who does have the information, then that's a stupid move. You got to be smart enough to know when to hold them and when to fold them. You got to know when to let it go. And so this is QueenzFlip's reaction. I want y'all to see his reaction, and then we're going to really get into it and talk about it, all right? Let's see his reaction. Let me see.
And to motivate, and I've been seeing this, people saying that you shouldn't argue with me because I'm dumb, right? In their opinion. You know, a lot of people move with that intellectual arrogance. And intellect doesn't make you superior, and that shit not supposed to be used as a weapon. Intellect's supposed to be used as a bridge. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. To connect, to encourage, you know what I'm saying? To connect, to encourage, and to motivate me to be an intellectual. Or to go over there and study and do that. That was my issue, and no disrespect to my brother Marc, it's not an issue, but that was my back and forth with Marc. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, bro, I look up to you. Bro, I respect you. Bro, you my man. And I've been seeing this, people saying that you shouldn't argue with me.
Look. Nobody can inspire you to be an intellectual. Being an intellectual is a choice. Being an intellectual is a choice to watch documentaries in place of sports sometimes, to read books in place of talking on the phone with your friend, to seek out an elder and have a conversation with that elder about something that you heard versus gossiping versus talking about what you feel. QueenzFlip, just like Ish on that Joe Budden show, these are two brothers that really get caught up in their feelings. And they talk about what they feel. And if you're the kind of person that wants to argue and talk about what you feel, you'll never be an intellectual. Not because you're not smart enough to be an intellectual. It's because you're too stupid to fucking figure it out before you goddamn talk. If you're comfortable talking about your feelings when somebody's giving you information, they can't push you to be no goddamn intellectual. That's a choice. Let's watch the part again.
Because I'm dumb, right? In their opinion. You know, a lot of people move with that intellectual arrogance. And intellect doesn't make you superior. And that shit not supposed to be used as a...
He said intellectual arrogance and intellect doesn't make you superior. No, intellect does not make you superior. But intellect does put you in a superior position over somebody without it. As long as somebody else is one step ahead of you, you don't have... A person doesn't have to be the smartest person in the room. A person only has to have one step ahead of you. This is the message to you niggas to you dumb niggas that they have an issue with quote unquote intellectuals. Intellectuals are not oftentimes the smartest one in the room. They're just smarter than you. Hell yeah, Sherelle Bryan, I just did. That's what I did take a long ass nap. I was gonna start this live at 1:30, and I said, "Nah, I need a Sunday afternoon nap." So yeah, you're right. I woke up from a nap and took a hot ass shower. I'm still goddamn sweating from my shower. I had that motherfucker boiling. But being an intellectual, you're right, mister. It's about listening. I don't call myself an intellectual because I had a 2.5 GPA, middle school, high school, and college. Matter of fact, I graduated college with a 2.0. I would have had to go back for an extra semester. My shit would have been a 1.7 had I not taken that one elective and gotten an A my last semester. That shit put me right at a 2.0, just enough to get that paper. I ain't no goddamn intellectual. I'm just smart enough to where I don't open my mouth unless I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And if I don't know what I'm talking about, I shut up. And if somebody does know what they're talking about and they know more than me, I listen. Because that's how I get better. If somebody knows something more than me, that now it's time to listen. I ain't about to argue with somebody who, like, I know my music really well, but if I see a keyboard player or talk about chords and this and that, you know what I do? Shut the fuck up. I'm a drummer. I know rhythm. But a singer come in talking about certain things, people who know a different area or discipline than I do, shut up. Usually when I see my man Kenneth Crouch, when me and Kenneth Crouch talk music, Kenneth Crouch is doing the majority of the talking. Because Kenneth Crouch understands music from an angle I don't understand. But I learned because Kenneth Crouch has forgotten more music than I'll ever know. And when we talk music, I add my input every now and again, mostly around rhythm. But outside of talking about rhythm, I don't, shit, nigga, you ain't gonna see me talking if you see Kenneth Crouch, shit. Kenneth is gonna do the talking. And I'm gonna be doing the loining. You dig? I'm going loin. So that's one thing you do to not be perceived as a dumbass. Shut the fuck up and listen. Now listen to more of this.
Weapon. That shit's intellect's supposed to be used to make you superior. And that shit not supposed to be used as a weapon. Intellect's supposed to be used as a bridge.
What kind of shit is that? Intellect ain't supposed to be used as a weapon? The fuck it ain't. What the fuck you mean it's not supposed to be used as a weapon? Intellect, we are being victimized by intellectuals all day, every day. All of us, me included. The intellectuals that are intellectual that know how to get us to pay $8.99 a month for an app one day, then $12.99 a month the next day. They using their intellect and how to sell us shit we don't need. We already got a PlayStation 4. Let's get a PlayStation 5 now. Intellectuals that say, hey, this soap brand is better than that soap brand, when really that the brand that they telling us is better is actually worse. We getting our ass knocked to the side all day, every day by people who are one step ahead of us in different areas. And all of us, no matter how smart we are, got people that are one step, two steps ahead of us in different areas. I might be ahead of you in this area, but you ahead of me in that area, and I'm over here spending money I don't need to spend because this intellectual just beat the shit out of my intellect and got me to buy some. The fuck is this dude talking about? The purpose of knowing and reading and listening and documenting is because the more you know, the less somebody could take advantage of you. You learn math, and you learn statistics So when someone tries to sell you on statistics, you know, that's not right. That's not right. I hated statistics when I was in school. But I learned statistics well enough to know when they're being used against me. I hate stats. That's why I don't talk basketball with people who talk stats. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Let's just watch basketball and talk the game. I'm not about to talk about percentages, because first off, you too stupid to understand what the average and niggas don't know the difference between mean, mode, and median, but want to talk stats. Nigga, you too dumb to talk stats. Let's just watch basketball and talk the game. But no, ESPN inundates you with stats because they're a little bit more intelligent than their audience who don't know shit about stats. And they use those stats to tell you that Jokic is better than Shaq, to tell you that LeBron is better than Kobe or Jordan. They use stats to say, oh, well, maybe Russell Westbrook, because he has more triple doubles, so he must be a better point guard than Chris Paul. No, he's not. Chris Paul is by far a better point guard. But the numbers. Nigga, you don't understand numbers well enough to have a numbers argument. And you using numbers. Let's go, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on. To connect, to encourage, you know what I'm saying? To connect, to encourage, and to motivate me to be an intellectual.
Hell no, it's that thing. One thing I don't like about being someone who has a public profile, who speaks, and this before I had let's take this back before I had a public profile. Let's go back 10 years ago when I worked at Hathaway Sycamore's Child and Family Services, when I was just working with children making no dollars an hour. Let me tell you something about that, man. People think just because you work with kids or you teach that somehow you're supposed to be some smart, some pacifist ass, poor righteous teacher. Come along, everybody. No, fuck you. That's one of my biggest, most annoying things, when people think just because you carry yourself with intelligence, you're supposed to be some sacrificial lamb that's there. So and people can be goddamn stupid all day, going while you trying to teach, and they go and then a minute you make them look stupid for going. Come on, man. You're supposed to be teaching. You're supposed to be an intellectual brother. What's wrong? I'm a black man. Why you talk to a black man like that? I'm not here for you, nigga. Nigga, it was my choice to pick up that book instead of picking up social media for those 2 hours. It was my choice. You had the same 2 hours. It was my choice to watch that documentary on this thing that I do instead of watching the Laker game that day. You had the same fucking 2 hours. It was my choice to choose to that old man you over there who you just see as an old man. It was my choice to go and listen to that, to go introduce myself to that old man and pick up a friendship like I did with Dr. Clyde Winters and people. Now, Dr. Short isn't old, but he's older than me. I pursued a friendship with Dr. Randy Short. That's how I became cool with Randy Short. When I saw her, Randy Short, I sent Dr. Short a Cash App, a big Cash App, and said, man, I would like to email you someday because you have a lot of knowledge. Because I first heard Dr. Randy Short on We All Be, Brother Ronald Hurd's channel. And I said, this is somebody I need to know. This is somebody who has a level of who knows a lot of things that I don't know. So instead of going on Instagram looking at Instagram models, instead of looking up some celebrity, some star, and inboxing a celebrity, I sent Dr. Short a nice big Cash App about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, maybe a little less, maybe not quite 10 years, probably about 8 years ago. I sent him a nice size Cash App, got his email address, and I cultivated a friendship with Dr. Short. Cause I saw the value in his intellect. And then you'll get a nigga who, nigga, only thing you seeking out is girls on OnlyFans. And then they'll come around and they say something stupid. You say something stupid to make them look stupid for saying that stupid shit. And they be like, no, brother, you're supposed to be a man of the people. You're supposed to be somebody who teaches the people. Why would you cuss me out? Because you a stupid motherfucker. That's why I cussed you out, nigga. Yeah, Dr. Short, that's right, Sherelle. Dr. Short is intelligent. With a very high intellect. Man, I pursued a friendship with Dr. Short because of his intellect. The same way I pursued Judge Joe Brown. Now, a lot of stuff Judge Joe Brown has said lately, I don't agree with some of the stuff. But I heard Judge Joe Brown, and I had to get to know and have conversations with Judge Joe Brown. Because I was like, this dude is somebody who, he's bold, and he's smart, and he has a wisdom that won't be on this earth forever. So let me seek out a message to where I can at least text Judge Joe Brown every now and again. I haven't interviewed him in about 5 years, but I know I can always still reach out to Judge Joe Brown. And that man only got so much longer on this earth. So I pursued that. I pursued a relationship with Dr. Clyde Winters. When I saw him online, I'm talking about Black Americans, indigenous history here in America. I pursued a friendship with him to where I can call him, I can text him at any time, and he'll get back to me if he can with a question, sometimes I need to know where to research something, a book or something. We got all these walking history books, like you said down there in the chat, Boris Shock, and you got niggas who will ignore these people so they can talk about and then turn around and listen so they can go around and listen to it. You rather listen to a Drake album than seek out an elder that has information. Stop that shit. I'm telling you right now, them days of dummies being comfortable is over with. I'm so done with dummies. Not calling QueenzFlip a dummy. I'm just talking about in general. The dummies have had way too much access to the microphone over the last 25 years since this century has started. This Kardashian-style celebrity where you could just have a personality and be famous. Everybody with a mic don't need to talk. That's the one area I agree with Angela Rye. Everybody with a microphone don't need to talk. It should probably be less than 10% of the people out there should be talking. Probably less than 5. Probably only 5 out of every 100 should ever talk. The rest of y'all need to talk to the 5 out of 100. That's just facts. Because you got smart people. Some people are very smart. They just have issues articulating what they think. They know what it is, but it's like if your card is like an ace of clubs people, they super intelligent, but an ace of clubs personality, they have a hard time saying what they mean. They have a hard time putting it out there clearly. And then you got other people who know how to talk well, great orators, speak clearly, convincing, but they stupid than the motherfucker and don't take time to learn. Those are the ones that say, well, I don't feel that's right. I feel we should go this way. Anytime a nigga talking to you about how he feel, tell that nigga to go goddamn seek a therapist and learn to process his feelings in a proper manner. It ain't your job, people, to listen to people's feelings. You listen to your girlfriend's feelings. You listen to your family's feelings. You listen to maybe one of your close friends' feelings. After that, you are not entitled to be going around listening to people's feelings. And if your girlfriend's talking about her feelings too goddamn long, at some point you gotta get out your feelings and let's talk turkey so we can solve whatever this issue is that we have. Well, I feel you're an idiot. Get the fuck out my face. Yeah, Forward clubs have issues. Forward clubs oftentimes can have an issue expressing themselves on matters of the heart. Forward clubs have a hard time expressing their heart. Hell yeah, Obama's an actor. So now that takes me over to Angela Rye and her side of the fence. Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross were talking, and they were talking about the same issue. They were talking about the whole situation, and they were mad at Marc Lamont Hill for even going over to the Joe Budden podcast, saying he should be with them. First off, I think that Marc Lamont Hill is a smart guy. I don't necessarily call him an intellectual because why didn't his intellectual ass know to shut the fuck up when it came to talking about Gaza and goddamn Israel? You know them. You know they don't play. They don't play with each other like that. They don't want no niggas. And intelligent, first off, know that don't nobody want a black person's opinion on Gaza or Israel. That's right, Clint. Smart bit of a coon. Oh, Lamont Hill is very smart. I think he's very smart. And I think that, but when Marc Lamont Hill does things like you don't know what a man or a woman is, the fact that he's confused over a man or a woman, that removes him completely from intellectual, in my opinion. The fact that he allowed if you can allow a political party to make you say, well, the definition of a man and the definition of a woman is something other than what we've been knowing our whole lives. If you can remove the definition of a man and a woman from dick and pussy, then to me you're not that much. You're just a goober who read a lot of books, in my opinion. Not taking a shot at Marc Lamont Hill, but that's not too smart. You allow a company to tell a party to tell you you don't know the difference between a man and a woman, and you're not smart enough to know that your black ass ain't got no business talking about no goddamn Gaza and Israel. Yeah, Marc Lamont Hill said men can have babies. So using him as an example of an intellectual when he says men can have babies, no, he's a fucking idiot. When your political alignment outweighs facts and science, when you allow a pseudoscience to outweigh the science the rest of the world still knows and understands, you're not an intellectual, you're a puppet. Right, you never thought Gina, you're right. I never in a million years thought I would see somebody say a man could get pregnant and still be taken serious. I never would have thought that in my whole. If you asked me, I mean, 10 years ago, and if you said, like, nah, no, and still be taken serious, no. Oh yeah, Candace always lit his ass up too. Yeah, right. You gotta realize, black intellectuals aren't on mainstream TV, period. The black intellectual class is offline. We're on YouTube. We're not on mainstream. Black intellectuals don't get to MSNBC and CNN. We don't get there. Black pseudo-intellectuals get there, but not the real deal. They don't allow the real deal to get there. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. What's up, Nene64? So let's get over to Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross is another one that allowed MSNBC to play her when she worked there, and she still got fired. She's the one that went out of her way to talk about you shouldn't listen to Tariq Nasheed or people like that. Let me tell y'all something. This ain't about Tariq. This is about anybody. Don't trust anybody telling you who not to listen to. If someone's truly intellectual, truly smart, they're gonna project that onto you and know that, hey, if you choose to listen to somebody else that don't agree with me, that's just where your energy is. I can't tell you who not to listen to. You listen to her the fuck you want to listen to. Now, I can recommend some good people to listen to. Hey, Thought Crimes is a dope channel. Black Alpha, Tori and Rain, certain people I like, But I'm not going to tell you to not listen, because if whatever alignment you're on, if once they say something off the wall and stupid, you're not going to listen to them anyway. The fuck would you be? I would never tell y'all to not listen to Roland Martin. I would say listen to Roland Martin, and if what he says makes sense to you, then do it. That's just where you are. I will never tell you not to listen to Boyce Watkins. If you want to listen to Boyce Watkins and listen to him gossip all day, and then tell you to go and listen to, and then you go and follow that Morrison guy that he had y'all following on that goddamn scam that dude had allegedly, then that's on you. I had to listen to Boyce for a while to realize that wasn't the move for me. I listened to Roland Martin back in the 90s and the 2000s for me to realize, okay, yeah, that wasn't the move for me. You know what I mean? I used to listen to Michael Eric Dyson until I got tired of hearing enough proclivitous, saliva of the expialidocious, psycho alpha disco beta bio aqua doodoo. After a while, one day I was listening to Michael Eric Dyson. I stopped listening to Eric Dyson when he had that public feud with Cornel West. I remember thinking like, okay, you're not down with Cornel West, I get it, but why do you gotta go and diss the man like this publicly? Why you gotta write a whole fucking open letter in the Atlantic telling people why you're separating from Cornel West? All Michael Eric Dyson did when he made that move, that just made me pay closer attention to Michael Eric Dyson. And as I paid closer attention to him, I was like, this nigga ain't saying shit. I had to arrive to that conclusion on my own. I couldn't have nobody tell me, because if you told me in 2006, 2007 to not listen to Michael Eric Dyson, I would have thought you was cooning. I would have been like, man, what do you mean? He's an intellectual, he's smart. And then one day I was like, this motherfucker is just saying proclivitous soliloquy and using this nigga just saying words. Let me turn this nigga off. He ain't talking about shit. He ain't talking about a motherfucking thing. Yeah, using big words like T.I. T.I. ain't talking about shit. Have y'all ever just listened to T.I.? People like, man, T.I. be dropping wisdom. I be like, okay, I don't argue with people. I used to, in my 20s, I would argue. In my 30s, I would argue. Now I'll be like, T.I. is an intellectual. Like, okay. Let me just remove myself from this conversation. And I'm gonna go get some water. Anybody want some punch? Yeah, expeditiously. I would have argued with you in my 20s or my 30s. But as I get my 40s with these great chin hairs, I know just to be like, you know what? Yeah, Kevin Gates. That's a dumb motherfucker right there. But that nigga be talking slow, sounding stupid. Jason Whitlock, talking slow, sounding stupid. And then we get to Angela Rye. Angela Rye, she did on this. If you go back and watch her stupid ass podcast, she goes in and talking about how Marc Lamont Hill is too good for the Joe Budden podcast. Basically, he's intellectually superior to them and he shouldn't be over there. I like having that mix between intellectuals and non-intellectuals. From the clips that I've seen, I'm not a big Marc Lamont Hill fan, but I do think that he works well on that show from the clips that I've seen. Again, I've never sat down and watched a whole. I'm not a subscriber to the Joe Budden podcast. Lately, because of all the clips that's been coming out, I may start subscribing. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I may become a Patreon member. I don't know. But I like the way when I do watch the clips, I like the balance, you know? I like the balance from what I hear the episodes that he's on, especially the way he's making Melissa Ford look stupid. Cause that was one dumbass broad right there. He make her look stupid than a motherfucker. Boy, that girl is stupid. And Marc Lamont Hill will make her look how she naturally is. And so, but the other dudes, you know, again, I don't. The fact that what they say about QueenzFlip, about him being a good father and all that stuff, I don't want to go in on him. This isn't about him per se. But let's go back to Angela Rye. You hit the cash app, $the Angela Rye is somebody who, what I call, she's a very much so pseudo-intellectual. She ain't that smart. She's one of those graduated from college. People like Angela Rye is what make it hard to be a quote-unquote intellectual college graduate. Because she's the kind of person that uses her education and throws it in people's face. You don't throw education in people's face. Education undergirds, whatever education got, it undergirds whatever you're saying. It's not what you put out front. It's what you learned during that time of your education / indoctrination. You use what you learn from it to support and undergird what you're saying. Let me give you an example. My degree is in communication studies. That's my bachelor's. My minor that I was 2 units short of actually getting was in cultural anthropology. I just did my last semester in college. I needed 2 more classes in that study to get a minor, and those classes were full, and I wouldn't have to go back. I would have to go back like the next semester. I was like, it's a fucking minor. I ain't going back for that shit. You niggas ain't getting no more of my goddamn money. I got this bachelor's, I'm good. But my almost minor was in cultural anthropology. I don't use that knowledge of cultural anthropology to throw in people's face. I use my knowledge of cultural anthropology to source information and to study. And when I am presenting you guys, when I talk to y'all, my understanding of culture, cultural anthropology taught me what questions to ask. The answer lies within the question. That's what information is. That's the one thing college gives you. You have to know how to ask the right questions. Anthropology taught me how to ask the right questions, and it taught me how to make a point using not emotion, but empirical evidence, physical evidence, and circumstantial evidence when need be. It taught me how to have the evidence speak for what I'm saying. So instead of going around saying, I'm smart, you're not smart, no, I just present you an argument with evidence because that's what I was taught to do. So when I say hip hop is a child of the blues, the grandchild of the blues, child of the within R&B and funk, I don't do that because of how I feel. I say, okay, it's the blues as far as the emotion and as far as the storytelling. It's R&B because it follows a 16-bar AABA writing format. And it's in 4/4 time with a 2/4 backbeat. And when you listen to hip hop, the majority of the samples in hip hop come from R&B or derivatives of R&B. And R&B and hip hop, when you listen to the songs, they use the same R&B songs, like the Heart Part 5 by Kendrick, when he used I Want You by Marvin Gaye. You use the whole beat, but instead of somebody singing, they're rapping over the top. Literally, R&B and hip hop fit like a glove. I don't say I feel they're the same. I give you points of reference because when I was in college, when I wanted to turn that paper in, when I did a speech, I had to give at least 3 to 5 points of reference to prove any point that I was making. I don't use my college degree of communication studies to browbeat somebody else and say I'm better than you because I have a degree in communication studies. Nah. No. Com studies taught me how to layer an argument. It taught me how to lay a foundation and give context. So I apply my degree every day I'm talking to you guys. I don't browbeat you niggas with my degree. I'm not like Boyce Watkins that be like, well, I got a PhD. Every fucking show, I don't know if he still does it, but when I watched Boyce for like 5 years. And every show, he had to remind you, well, I have a PhD in finance. Like, well, maybe you should go ahead and take your dollar and fold it in half and put it back in your pocket. That's where you save money and you don't spend it, because I have a PhD in finance. That corny shit. No, I just apply it. Subscribe, Dirty. So when you get Angela Rye, it's all about I'm educated. Just show us. Just don't talk over us. Don't talk down to us because I'm educated and I HBCUs and people are stupid because they voted for Trump and they didn't vote. Or you're stupid if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. And I'm smarter than you. Well, the smart people in the room know that Joe Biden is the way to go. It sounds to me more like Angela Rye. You're not educated. You fell victim to the other part of college, and that's indoctrination. And that's the part. Chat room, help me out. Where did Angela Rye get her degree? Where's her degree from? Howard. I thought it was Howard. I thought it was Howard. I was about to say Howard. Sherelle Bryant. I was gonna say Howard. I figured it was Howard because one thing I noticed about Howard, you want to find somebody that's indoctrinated. Go talk to a Howard University graduate. I said it. Not all, but a lot of them. Being someone that I got my degree from with what they call a PWI, private white institution, or a public white institution, I should say. I get a whole lot of, well, going to an HBCU just puts me in contact with my culture. And, when you get a cultural experience at an HBCU, them HBCU niggas be the worst. You get a cultural experience like no other at an HBCU. Nigga, I was raised in the Crenshaw district. I don't need no goddamn go to college for no black culture. Nigga, I was raised in it. What? Nigga, most of my life, I lived within walking distance of either Slauson or Broadway. My whole life. Slauson or Crenshaw. My whole life, I've been within walking distance of Slauson or Crenshaw. The fuck I need to go to an HBCU to get some culture for? Got culture all around me. Got a black mama and a black daddy. It's just something about us Howard alums, and yeah. Like, I'm not against HBCUs, but I've seen the most arrogant motherfuckers come from HBCUs. I swear to God. Out of all, I got a homeboy that graduated Harvard. He ain't arrogant. My wife graduated from Duke fucking University. You think I want to hear anything about a Howard or a Morehouse grad? My wife graduated from Duke, nigga. Fuck out of here. Her one Duke degree equals all the HBCUs combined. You don't fuck about no HBCU, nigga. Now I do like the fact that HBCUs are something that a lot of them were started by black people. Now Howard was started by white folks. Howard, Fisk, them were schools for white folks to send their black kids, their illegitimate black kids to. That's why Howard and Fisk were created, to separate, Now, if I'm talking about, salute to goddamn Booker T. Washington, and salute to the people that went to HBCUs just so you can become a better so you can get a degree in the field of study that will make you some money and you're not arrogant about it. I'm all with it with y'all. I remember one of my best friends from elementary school, middle school, and high school. I'll never forget, man. He went to Grambling. And I remember because like me, it took me 6.5 years to get my degree. But my boy that went to Grambling graduated in 4. Man, when that nigga got his degree, that nigga used to turn his nose up so fast at other niggas. Well, I got a degree. I'd be like, so? Even I got my degree. I got my degree like a couple years later. It was still like, you got a degree. One thing you got to understand this. One of the primary purposes of college, like all education in America, is indoctrination. American education is indoctrination first, education second. It's indoctrination. That's why they host Charlie Kirk on campus. That's why they have this stuff. It's the MAGA people aren't all the way wrong when they talk about these liberal universities, indoctrination. Now, MAGA folks are just mad because they'd rather the indoctrination be MAGA indoctrination. MAGA folks ain't saying no indoctrination. They just saying indoctrinate the people over here to the right, to the left, to the right instead of to the left. But fact is, they are still right about the fact that colleges, universities are for the most part left-wing indoctrination centers. And you got to know that if you have a degree. You've been propagandized, and that's why oftentimes people will rather work with folks without degrees, because people without degrees can oftentimes tend to be more outside of the box, more open-minded. People without degrees tend to see more angles than people with degrees. Degrees sort of make you more narrow-minded, and that's just a fact. Doesn't make you stupid, and it doesn't mean all people with degrees. But overall, there's a give and take with degrees. Now, if you're an architect, you better fucking have a degree. If you're an engineer, I want my engineers and architects to have degrees, in those fields. I want my doctors to have degrees. I want my lawyers to have degrees in those fields. But, for the most part, when you get a college degree, you got to understand this one thing. This goes to Angela Rye and all you fake-ass intellectuals. No, degree does not help you command a certain salary no matter where you get it from. That's indoctrination, pretty brown eyes. I appreciate the comment, but that's what they tell us. It's not true in function. Because black people with degrees make less than white people that are high school dropouts, and that's a fact. A white person with a high school diploma is going to make more money than a black person with a master's. That's just a fact. On 7 times out of 10. You dig? And I know someone right now with a master's degree that works at Costco. And I ain't talking about Costco corporate. I'm talking about, do you want these items in a box or not? Costco, okay? But I hear what you said, but that's what they tell us. That's what they tell us. So I know that I have a degree, and when I was working my day job, I found out the Mexican without a degree was making more money than me. Why? Because bilingual made more money than degrees. That's another trick they play on your black ass. They're bilingual, so we're gonna start them at $15,000 a year ahead of everyone else. So a degree, this is what those of us with degrees got to remember. This is what a degree is. And on my home computer, I used to keep a graphic up on my computer. I don't know what it is now. But pull out your calculator right now and do 360 degrees. Just put 360, put 1 divided by 360. Knowledge of anything, to have complete knowledge is to have knowledge of all 360 degrees. That's what they call it, a degree. When you get a college degree, you get a degree of knowledge. There are 360 degrees. Pyramids, rhombuses, squares, triangles, circles, they all equal 360. 360 is whole. So somebody in the chat, do 1 divided by 360. What's the number? Yeah, I know it's 0.0002 something. Y'all taking too long. Let me pull my calculator. 778. What's up, Mama Zeke? Always good seeing Mama Zeke in the chat. Always good seeing her. Let me know when you back in LA again, Mama Zeke. Her, man, dope people. So for everybody with a degree, like Human says, you get 0.002777778. That's how much knowledge you now have with your college degree, folks. You don't even have a whole degree of knowledge. The universities, it's like life works like a magic trick, man. They have, in order for the trick to work, they got to tell you what they doing. Appreciate that for the Patreon, Big Hank. Yeah. My music university was supposed to start today, but it's not going to start till next Sunday because I can't do it on my current computer. My computer's fried. So next Sunday, my 10-part series on the history of R&B is on Patreon. No more having to buy classes. Just subscribe to the university level of Patreon. I promise you at least 3 to 4 courses a year. When I say course, I'm meaning 6 weeks and up. This R&B University is going to be the last course of the year. This year we did a summer school course on music, and we did a history of music course. American Tree, the American Tree history course. And then we're going to close it out this year with the history of R&B. We're going to start in January. We're going to start, February, we're going to start probably on the history of jazz and blues, all right? But you got to be on the university level to get that. My whole Patreon is 50% off for the first month. So if you're new to Patreon, you want to try it out, it's 50% off for the first month now through Halloween, okay? So you can sign up for Patreon now through Halloween to get 50% off. So back to what we're talking about as far as a degree. This is what I need my people with degrees to understand. You don't even have a full degree of knowledge. I don't have a full degree of knowledge. I have a percentage of a degree with my college degree. I understand at a Bachelor of Arts level how to communicate. And then when it comes to your degree, you only proficient in what you got a fucking degree in. Having a college degree don't make you proficient in, if your college degree is in English, it don't make you proficient in math. If you got a college degree in math, it don't make you proficient in communication. If you got a degree in communication, it don't make you proficient in philosophy. You got a degree in psychology, it don't make you proficient with being in touch with your feelings. You say your leadership and strategy consultant, also college dropout? Yeah. So you get these Angela Rye types that think their degree means something. And because you have a degree, you too smart to be around the Joe Budden Podcast. I personally find I got friends with degrees and friends without degrees. I got both. And I like that mixture. I got some friends that are dropouts. You know? You got to be humble with your degree. You get a degree to provide a service that service is your input to this whole thing we call life. You got a degree to be good at something, to give a service in some kind of way. Treat it like that. The degree don't put you ahead of the next person. it puts you in service to the next person. My talent is communicating and finding common relationships. That's my natural born talent. If you read my chart, if you read my cards, you'll know that I'm somebody that knows how to fuse two different things. And I'm a Gemini born. I can see something over there and see how it fits with something over there. So what I did was I followed my intuition, and I got a degree in communication studies to help my natural ability to see how opposite things fit, so I can then explain it in a clear and concise manner. That's all the fuck my degree is good for. It don't make me a better person. It don't make me somebody that can fix your flat tire. It don't make me somebody that can fix a clogged drain. And we need all them goddamn services. Let the toilet get stopped up. I can put a snake down that motherfucker, but if the snake don't work, I gotta call somebody that has a different skill set than mine. And they took that time to go to school to provide a service for me when I need it. The same way I provide a service for them when they need it. We're all in service of one another. All of us. We are all in service of one another. I appreciate that, Nene. I see Feeder Speak said, who's Cash Money or No Limit? I'm going to go No Limit only because of The Last Meal. That's my favorite Snoop album. Personally, I ain't like Cash Money or No Limit. That projects real. You say you work on supercomputers? You right, said if you tell me to build a deck, I would look at you crazy. Right. Well, look, man, in life, we in service to each other, man. So let's go back to when I was talking about stupid people earlier. The reason why I was saying what I had to say about stupid people is because you're only stupid because you don't know to shut the fuck up and listen. That's what makes you stupid. We all don't know something. No matter how smart you are, there's always somebody else that got a little bit more information than you do in the topic that you're talking about, let alone what you don't know that you're talking about. Stupid is feeling intimidated. That's stupid. Because somebody's smarter than you. That's dumb. And I say that with my whole chest. And let me tell you why I say that with my whole chest. I've learned, this is not a lesson I learned until I got into my 40s. That it's a lot of niggas out there that are super jealous of my intelligence. I never wanted to say that before. But I have to own it because it's broken up with sometimes some things that I thought were friendships. Come to find out, my intelligence intimidated these people. And it always comes out whenever you had that come to Jesus conversation. And my intelligence also bothers a lot of people because a lot of people are into the physical. Not saying the physical isn't important, but most people think a good message only comes from people with a 6-pack of abs and a $2,000 suit. Most people rate appearance over substance. To most people, it gotta look a certain way, and I don't look that way. I'm shaped like a fucking ogre, and I wear t-shirts. I don't look like I'm shaped like Buddha, nigga. But these niggas are too fucking stupid to know that nigga the Buddha was the one giving you the wisdom. People are stupid. They look at appearance. So what a hard lesson that I learned in my 40s was a lot of these niggas is fake, borderline sissies, and you can see when they shake your hand, they look at you. And I know what it looks like. What's up, Dr. Dedriff? Salute to Dr. Dedriff up in here. A lot of these dudes, they'll look at me and see me, I'm out of shape. I'm shaped like a fucking Buddha. I'm shaped like an ogre. I don't use beard coloring, so I let my gray hairs grow, and I wear a t-shirt. And I'd be, honestly, if people weren't so superficial, I'd have no issue wearing the same pair of t-shirt and jeans every night of the week, as long as it's clean. Just wash them. I'd have no issue wearing the same pair of t-shirt and jeans and shoes every day of the week. My only requirement with clothes is that they be clean. That's my only requirement. My shit got to be clean. I take showers every day, sometimes twice a day. Got to be clean. But I'm like, so I found over the years that there are dudes out here that'll get next to you because you have a certain level of intelligence, but at the same time, I don't take from them. Like, they still get, if it's a role, I won't take it because of how I look. Or if it's a thing, I don't. And it's something that my wife had to break down to me, yo. I didn't see it. Thank God for having a black wife. My wife was like, Dwann, these niggas is intimidated by you. And I don't see myself that way. I want to see the team win. I'm having an issue with a friend right now because of some nigga that was around in they camp saying all kind of foul shit about me, man. Because intimidated. I'm telling y'all right now, ladies, and for all you fellas out there, I want to make this so you don't feel like you alone. A lot of these dudes is hoes. A lot of these dudes is pretend straight, and this ain't got nothing to do with sexual orientation. Don't take it that way. But a lot of these dudes is fags. And there's a lot of fags that are straight. Fag don't mean gay or not. In this context. A lot of these niggas are straight up fags. They see another man and that other man's natural gifts intimidates them. Punks. But that's most of these dudes. And I've had my wife tell me, it's like certain people who I fell out with later on, I had my wife tell me 4 and 5 years before that, because she ain't gonna do nothing. These niggas ain't gonna do nothing. But I've had my wife point out different dudes in my life that literally be looking at me when I walk away like, how did this fat nigga get a wife and his own goddamn life? And I look, she said they tried it when I walk away. They tried it. And she be like, no, really, they just have an issue. They don't know how to fuck. How did this? One time my wife is very blunt. She was like, they look at them wondering like, how did this big ass nigga get the life that I want? That's real talk, Mama Zeke. Yeah. Yeah, Big Hank. Black women are borderline psychics, man. That's why a lot of these hoe ass niggas don't want one. They want to bullshit. They don't want to be held to account. And that's the thing that goes unsaid about black women and about black dudes. A lot of these dudes is punks and they don't want to be held to account. Those are the ones that date multiracial women but always have an issue about black women. I ain't talking about the dudes. Some dudes just find women, like if you're like people who are like a 5 of clubs, that card. People that card, 6 of hearts, these niggas love everybody. Jack of hearts, I noticed that when I read cards, I'm like, okay, yeah. It made me relax a lot of my judgment when it came to interracial dating. Some people just born like that. Some people are born wanting it's like food. Some people eat the same shit over and over again, like me. I'm the same way. I'm the same way with food. Part of the reason why I'm so goddamn big, I eat the same shit over and over. Pizza, burgers, and wings, nigga. My palate, I ain't got no diverse palate like that. I don't like mashed potatoes. I don't like beans. I don't like rice. I don't like corn. I barely like potato salad. I don't like yams. I don't like none of that shit. All that shit's nasty to me. Nigga, give me a piece and get the fuck out of my face. I like black women. That's it. But it's other kind of niggas that it's not that they like other women. It's something about them that can't stand black women, usually because of their mama. And those be the ones that always got something to say about black women. I'm talking about them. Hell no, I don't like yams. Nigga, when Thanksgiving come, my plate gonna be ham. And yes, I eat swine. Fuck you if you one of them people don't eat no swine. Kiss my motherfucking ass. I'm eating ham, mac and cheese, greens, and a piece of bread. That's my Thanksgiving. I might get some turkey later on. I say the turkey for when the ham is gone. I make some turkey sandwiches out of that. I say the turkey for the sandwiches the next day. But nigga, ham, greens, mac and cheese, piece of bread, I'm good. Hell no, ain't no dressing is dried. Hell nah. Ain't no dressing. I ain't no cranberry sauce. I ain't none of that shit. Hell no, ain't no goddamn chitlins. Nope. I ain't eating none of that shit. Like, people be thinking I'm rude when that's why I really don't even go over people's house. They be wanting to put all kind of shit on your plate. I'm like, I'm throwing 70% of this shit away. If they don't have greens, give me a salad. I love salad. I'm good with a meat, salad, and a piece of bread. That's all I need. I ain't eating no rice. I ain't eating no dirty rice. I ain't eating no fried rice. I ain't eating no, nigga, the only rice I like is Jerry rice, nigga. 49ers. And Jerry rice is the only rice I fuck with. Nigga, Glenn Rice, when that nigga who played for the Lakers, that nigga jumper was wet. Glenn Rice, Jerry Rice, that's the only fucking rice you gonna see me talking positively about. I ain't eating no goddamn rice. Fuck out of here. I ain't eating no honey. Honey's nasty. I ain't eating none. I don't like pie. Pie is nasty. I don't want no sweet potato pie, no pumpkin pie. Well, I fuck with apple pie. I like apple pie. I don't like peach cobbler. That shit too sweet. I don't like that fruity shit. Get that peach cobbler out my fucking face, all right? I ain't eating that. I ain't eating no cake with no coconut in it. Well, I'll do German chocolate cake. German chocolate is the only coconut I'ma eat. I don't like nothing with coconut. I don't want no coconut milk, coconut water, coconut cake. Nigga, no. Buttermilk pie, no. Fuck out of here. That shit just sound nasty, buttermilk pie. No. The only cake I'm eating is chocolate cake, and yellow chocolate. My wife's a great cook, so I eat my wife's red velvet cake. She does everything from scratch. Like, if my wife does a red velvet cake, I'll eat like 2 slices, small slices, because I like it, but hell nah. Sweet potato pie, nope. Almond Joy, hell no. I'll kick your ass if you have me an Almond Joy. I'll take that shit and throw that motherfucker. I'll toss that shit into traffic. The fuck you doing? Give me an Almond Joy. Coconut cake, carrot cake, hell no. Lemon chocolate, If it's maybe. It depends on who does the lemon chocolate cake. Tiramisu's cool. Jello cake? Hell no. I'll take Jello. I like Jello. But Jello cake? Fuck out of here. No, that's not. No, all this shit nasty. I don't know where the camera went. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Because I can't see myself. I can't, my screen black. But as long as y'all can see me, it's all right. Which way is it? Is it facing me or is it facing the other way? Oh yeah, oatmeal raisin cookies are good. The only cookies I like chocolate chip cookies and oatmeal raisin. All right, cool. I don't eat I don't eat sugar cookies. I don't eat none of them goddamn. I don't eat fortune cookies. Yeah, I fucks with oatmeal raisin cookies. I don't even like raisins though. I prefer oatmeal chocolate chip. I don't like raisins. I'm with you. I don't fuck with raisins, but I will do oatmeal. I prefer oatmeal, plain oatmeal cookies or oatmeal chocolate chip. If I had my choice, I would do just plain oatmeal cookies. But it's very rare you can find an oatmeal cookie. Everybody put raisins in them, so it's like fuck it. Hell no, I ain't no peanut butter cookie. No. Cranberry? No. Oh yeah, I eat brownies with no nuts. No to cheesecake. And that's a big fuck no to cheesecake. And salute to you, Marc Anthony, you a cool dude. But you didn't know better, so don't take this personal. But fuck you for bringing up cheesecake. There's never been a cheesecake that I like. Oreo cheesecake, and I love Oreos. I don't like, man, cheesecake, hell, ugh. Just when I hear the word cheesecake, I do this. Ah. That's the reaction cheesecake give me. Ah. That nasty shit out of here. I like cheese. Cheesecake. Fuck out of here. And my wife is a great cook too. She be cooking everything. She be over here on Thanksgiving. She be cooking she be cooking yams, potato salad, stuffing, dressing, where the fuck y'all call that nasty ass shit? Greens and my whole family, everybody come by. Everybody be like, oh, everybody be like, man, this is the best. Can we take leftovers? I'll be like, take all the leftovers you want. Because ain't not one yam gonna get eaten when y'all leave here unless she eat it. Ain't not one. She make sweet potato pie from scratch. And the family, she be giving them, they be, man, my brother-in-law, my parents, man, her parents, they be all up in it. All up in it. I fucks with lamb. I'll be barbecuing lamb. Somebody said anything healthy. And get your health food ass out of here. This ain't the Dr. Sabi room, all right? If collard greens ain't healthy, I don't know what is. We over here talking about traditional Thanksgiving, and you already got that one health nut coming in, talking about the traditional thing. Nigga, quiche is not part of Thanksgiving dinner, all right? Rice patties and tofu and impossible burgers. Niggas don't do that for Thanksgiving, all right? Let's stop the extra shit. You know good and hell well, you bring some impossible meat to Thanksgiving, you gonna get your ass whooped. Shit, my grandfather was eating Popeye's chicken until he died at the age of 98. This is a food my grandfather grew up on. My grandfather lived to 98 years old. Layla Africa died at 74. So stop the bullshit, all right? Thank you. Now back to what we was talking about. John Madden lived to 85 years old. How many 85-year-old vegans do you know? Nigga, I grew up watching football, nigga, the turducken every Thanksgiving. John Madden was 85 years old. He ain't seen a skinny day in his life. Richard Simmons died at 76, all right? Richard Simmons done ran marathons, done had fitness-a-thons and all kind of shit. And you got somebody talking something, you got any impossible meat for Thanksgiving? Fuck out of here, nigga. Now back to what we talking about. So back to what we're talking about. No, for nothing. That always tripped me out because, like, in my basketball playing days, now my weight did contribute to me getting the knee surgery and not being able to play anymore. I'm not going to act like it didn't. But when I hooped, man, talk to anybody that was around when I hooped. Man, shit. I was 320 pounds outrunning everybody. My hooping weight was 320. It was between 320 and 330. Playing ball 5 hours a day. And I was quicker than you. Very fast feet. I have very fast feet. Very agile. Very quick lateral movement. And big lungs. I can go all day long. I used to love when you 210-pound six-pack niggas would come and guard me. Left block, give me the ball, I'm going to work. I'd always get that one nigga that would come to the park. People who didn't know better, who weren't used to me hooping, they would always come and guard me thinking it was going to be an easy day. I was like, oh, you going to guard me? All right. One of my favorite players when I played was Reggie Miller. Baseline, sideline to sideline. We're going to run up and down this court, and then if you too skinny, I'm not going to post you up. That's too easy. But I'm going to be running sideline to sideline, coming off these screens and wetting these threes on your motherfucking ass. I love moving. You could talk to some motherfuckers that done play professional sports, professional football and basketball. I got pro athletes that are vouching for how the fuck I used to move when I played. Robert say, you believe me the way I move when that skunk came. Hey, fuck you. Hey, yeah, that skunk came. I had to move. That's why I don't laugh. I'll be listening to people something, oh, Dwann, you fat. All right, let's go on the basketball court. Let's see how fat I am then. Let's go. Yeah, you're right, Mark Anthony. Maurice White started living a vegan life in 1971. Because I know that because of his book. When Earth and the Fire came out, he stopped eating meat in 71, 72. He was in his 20s. Maurice White was in his 20s when he stopped eating meat. Early 30s, late 20s. And that brother still died at 74 years old. And his music was pure. His food was pure. We don't know how this fucking life works. Meanwhile, my father-in-law, Mr. James Carmichael, just turned 84 years old last month. And Mr. Carmichael, man, shit, he'll cuss you out if you tell him he can't have no pork roast. Mr. Carmichael, 85 years old, still eating short ribs, drinking soda all goddamn day. 85 years old. I think he was the same age as Maurice White. No. He was a little older than Maurice White. Because Maurice White died 9 years ago at 74. So he's 1 year older. Maurice White lived a healthy lifestyle. Completely healthy. Mrs. said that skunk exposed my quickness. Yeah, I was very quick. When I hooped and when I posted up, I didn't use my weight in the post. I used my quickness. I use footwork. I didn't use weight to post people up. I use footwork. And my father-in-law just turned 85 years old. And do you know what we had for his 85th birthday? You know the menu was? Woody's barbecue and CW Chris fish. Fried fish, pork ribs, beef, sides of beef, fried catfish, fried shrimp, French fries, potato salad, and 2 cakes. It wasn't not one piece of fruit to be found for his 85th birthday. This nigga Dexter Robinson. Now we talking about these health nuts talking about some bringing tofu to Thanksgiving dinner. If you don't sit your tofu ass down, nigga. Nigga, impossible ham. No, nigga. I better have gotten a ham that ate all the slop that was thrown out there. I want my ham to be some shit, nigga. They say, oh, that swine eat anything. Well, good. Maybe that's why this motherfucking slice of ham tastes so goddamn good. Eat away. God damn it. And if somebody got to go early, it's just your time to go. Everybody leave at 50. People of all sizes leave at 50 years old. Leave at 40. Leave at 60. Leave at 55, 40, 42. We don't know how this shit work. I had a homegirl who died of a pulmonary embolism, and she was a health nut. But she had a blood clot hit her heart, and she was gone at 39. In shape, not an ounce of fat on her. We don't know how this shit works. And then I have seen like big people die. Like I was with Teddy Ray 2 days before he died. Those of you who watch this show regularly, who's watching my show back then, y'all know the story. I was live. I sit on my live on the porch, smoking a blunt at night, and Teddy Ray walked past. What's up, T? Because Teddy Ray was one of my tenants. And it's funny, I just got a Teddy Ray royalty check that got mailed to my address. I'm about to forward to his family. Boy, Teddy Ray still getting royalty checks in heaven. But I was there and I saw Teddy Ray walk up the steps. And it took my man like 5 minutes to get up the steps. And he didn't look good. And I went to bed and I couldn't sleep that night. I was just hoping he'd be all right. And then 2 days later, my man was gone. But Teddy Ray was trying to get it together, man. Teddy Ray was going to the gym every night. He was going 24-hour fitness to get himself right. He didn't have enough time, you know? Damn, rest in peace to your cousin, Dexter. You know, so, but we don't know how this life thing works. We don't. Just live your life the best way you can. Yeah, Kenneth, that's exactly where he will be. And Teddy be in the pool. Teddy will be at 24-hour fitness. Yep, in the pool. That's what Teddy Ray was in that pool at 24-hour fitness, and he would go like it late at night so people wouldn't see him. Because of course there's a stigma to being big, and just because Teddy Ray was funny and famous doesn't mean that he didn't have to live with that stigma. You know? But yeah, Flojo died at 38 years old. She was healthy and beautiful. Rest in peace, Casey Benjamin. Casey Benjamin used to play the saxophone for Robert Glasper in The Experiment. He played the saxophone, and he died last year of a pulmonary embolism, just dropped dead. He was only like 46. I love listening to Casey Benjamin on that saxophone. You know, we don't know. But if you feel being a Presbyterian is right for you, then nigga, get down with it. If you feel being a vegan or being a vegetarian or whatever, be down with it. Just whatever you do, be down with it. You know what I mean? Whatever you do, be down with it. But yeah, but back to these fake ass pro-blacks. We done got way off the subject. But be down with whatever it is that you do. And but back to these people, these fake ass pro-blacks. See, we don't get real intellectual black people in mainstream spaces. Tiffany Cross, Angela Rye, Michael Eric Dyson. These aren't intellectuals. These is puppets. Not saying they may be smart in their personal life. I don't know these people personally. Marc Lamont Hill is probably a smart person in his personal life. But the people that we see on camera, these ain't no goddamn intellectuals. Intellectual don't change what they say just because the party says change what you say. They ain't a motherfucking thing intellectual about changing your stance on something because the party changed its stance on something. We got puppets and shills. We don't have intellectuals in the mainstream. They stopped that back in the 90s. You used to get Farrakhan, Khalid Muhammad. You used to be able to see Dr. Claude Anderson, Leonard Jeffries. You used to be able to catch them on Donahue every now and again, or Geraldo, or Sally Jesse Raphael. You would catch a Scheherazade Ali and Dr. Welsing, true intellectuals. You would catch them on TV every now and again in the 90s and the 80s. But you don't see them anymore. Neil deGrasse Tyson he's a scientist. He's not a scientist. He's an engineer. You know, as long as Neil deGrasse Tyson stays his lane talking about, the planets and shit, that's cool. I'm talking about intellectuals talking about social aware. I'm talking about social intellectuals. Intellectuals who could break down society and speak on society from an intellectual, well-studied point of view. Not an elitist point of view, not a party point of view, but from this is my people point of view. We still have them around by the boatload. There's still a boatload of people out there that can speak for our needs, but they don't get put out there. You're not going to see them on MSNBC. You're not going to see them on CNN. So there's a reason why you didn't see Dr. Claude Anderson on CNN. That's an intellectual. You didn't see Um, you know, you didn't see Dr. Welsing on MSNBC when it came to talk about race, did you? You didn't see Scheherazade Ali on when it came to talking about relationships. These are people who have taken time to think these things through and study them and write profound books on these situations. Scheherazade Ali wrote books on relationship, and they found one thing that they don't like that she said when she said, "Men, if you have to when you have to hit your woman, don't beat on them. Just hit them once and get it over with." She said that, and she later on took it out the book. But even when you listen to that, even though I'm someone that don't hit, it makes sense because so you can't tell certain people are predisposed to be in certain ways. I look at my aunt, for instance. My aunt, when she was alive, she didn't respect any man that didn't touch her. She used to provoke niggas into that. You know what I mean? And that was her comfort zone. And there are women out there, that's their comfort zone. I stay far the fuck away from those kind of women, but they still exist. And to act like those kind of women don't exist, isn't intellectual. To act like there are men out there, you got niggas who are boxers, football players, and everything they do is physical. Everything they learn their whole life, they're not the best at talking. A lot of men don't have a good mouthpiece. And so a lot of men only know how to express themselves physically. It's something my dad told me a long time ago. My dad always told me, I love my pops. If y'all see my parents back there, my dad used to always be like, Dwann, you's a big nigga and you's a big athletic nigga. Ain't nobody gonna fight you, they gonna shoot you. So you have to learn how to use your words and you have to learn how to use wisdom to avoid situations because ain't nobody gonna fight you, they'll shoot you. My dad told me that shit straight up. So, and plus, and thank God at least, I'm naturally good at my words. My brother's not good with words. My brother's also a 3rd-degree black belt in Hapkido. Now, my brother's never hit a woman. That's never been his issue. He ain't never hit no woman. But my brother will fuck a dude up. There's some dudes out there who only know how to solve issues through physical confrontation. Their words don't work too well. They exist. That's why, but my brother's also a cop. These are the people who are military, law enforcement, private security. There's a role for everybody on this planet. And you got people out there who, when it comes to conflict, the only thing they know is bah! Those kind of men exist. Dr. Scheherazade Ali always said, women, don't out-talk your men. Women can out-talk men 10 times to 1. I'm sorry, 100,000 times to 1. Men cannot keep up with women rhetorically. I can. But most men cannot keep up with women rhetorically. And even me, even though I can, I still find times that I tap out because women know how to go to levels of logic that I'm like, I'm not willing to go there. You got it. You got it. Y'all can go there, women. Don't say you don't. So these kind of people exist. And Scheherazade Ali gave answers to how to deal if and when you run across these kind of people. That's an intellectual. Knowing that even though this conversation is uncomfortable, even though I may not like this, even though it may make me feel a certain way, it still exists. And the mere fact that it still exists, it means I have to learn how to deal with it. I can't ignore my way from dealing with life. I can't ignore my way from life. And you got these pseudo intellectuals like Angela Rye and Bakari Sellers and those ones that MSNBC and CNN allows on their platforms, Marc Lamont Hill. They just say, "Oh, it shouldn't be that way," and you're crazy to suggest that these things. Like if I say when they were talking about when Marc Lamont Hill was talking about Scheherazade Ali, he brought up that point. He was like, you're crazy to say that this." No, these people exist and they need help too. Miss Coleman said, "Your dad told you know a wolf ticket when you see one. That won't be easy, right?" I would tell, and that's just overall message to women. Men, and nothing my dad would tell me, men don't play, men kill. Men kill. So don't play with a man. And this is coming from a man that can defend himself. And my dad would always tell me something else. You don't know how far another man is willing to go to prove their point. You be done whoop somebody's ass and you think it's over with. Now you out walking, minding your business, ain't thinking about the situation. They see you, it could be 10, 15 years later, and they ready to handle that situation. Or they can call people. You thinking the fight's over with, or you thinking, okay, I'm whoop this person's ass. But some people, it's just, my dad would always like, some of these niggas are just cock strong. My dad's a black belt, and he taught me karate. My dad learned karate from Chuck Norris in the 60s here in LA, in the 70s. Chuck Norris was his karate teacher before Chuck Norris became a movie star back in the late 60s. My dad's a black belt. My dad would always tell me, like, I got a black belt, but having a black belt don't mean shit against a nigga that's just cock strong. And if you black, you know exactly what I mean when I say cock strong. Some niggas is just strong. Appreciate the 2 hours. What are my thoughts on 9/11? It happened. It's over with now. But my dad always said, some of these niggas is just cock strong. So you don't play with men. Men don't play, men kill. But I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. I got some shit to do today. And to close it off, damn all these pseudo intellectuals and to you stupid people. One way is no one ever in the world ever has to know you're stupid if you just shut your mouth. I'm stupid when it comes to certain things. I'm illiterate to a lot of things. I'm just intelligent enough to know that things that I'm ignorant to, I know how to shut the fuck up. And instead of challenging somebody that has some new information, I ask questions for further clarification of what they said if I don't understand. Or if somebody is telling me something that's totally against my perception of something, but I know that person was there and I wasn't, I'm not going to fight them. Or that person has more experience than I do. I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to ask more questions. So when I do QueenzFlip, talk about if someone is educated, their job is lift you up. It's not educated people's job to lift you up. It's your job to educate yourself in the areas that pique your curiosity. And if you don't have the time or feel like educating yourself, then don't try to compete with those who do. All right? Subscribe to Patreon. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.